Am I the off for breaking up with my ex because she refused to treat her dog better? I know the tit'll sound like I am a controlling, maybe I'm, but hear me out. This is a throwaway account and English isn't my first language, so sorry for any misspelling or weird word arrangements in this very long post. I, 25F, was in a somewhat stable relationship with a 27F. I will call her ex until today. She was my girlfriend. We were dating since January 2023. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but we did have a partnership. I really love her and felt loved by her, and we even had plans on moving in together in the near future. For context, we did have some crisis. Both of us are people with problems. She has borderline, major depression, general anxiety, and she doesn't have the greatest physical health either, and I have depression since I was a small child and some undiagnosed attention problem. I suspect ADHD, but I can't diagnose myself. Unlike her, I don't have access to a psychologist or psychiatrist at the moment. Despite my country offering free healthcare, my mental-emotional problems aren't big enough to the poorly funded public healthcare system to care, unfortunately. After all, despite my depression and attention problems affecting my life daily, some house chores takes days to be completed, I'm always late, and I'm failing college. I do have a job and I live on my own since I was 14 years old. My father is out of the picture, my mother is homophobic, and when I came out, she didn't take well. We do have a good relationship today. It is a strained one, but it is the best one I think I can have with her. I had some undiagnosed eating disorder in my teenage years, and I always had a high moral compass, which can make kinda hard to deal with. This sound unimportant, but I'm saying this because I'm in fact a little bit of a control freak because of my personal story. I don't think I'm an abusive or a controlling partner, quite the opposite. I can count on my finger how many times I felt jealousy in my life, but I don't easily trust people, and because I like things my way, I prefer to do things on my own, and sometimes I prefer to take the risk and the blame for a failure than to ask for help, which is a big problem, but not the issue here. Other important thing to take into consideration is I love animals. I'm a vegetarian trying to be vegan, and I love my pets. I have an elderly cat, one blind rescued Oscar fish. I rescued her with my ex, so the aquarium is on my house, but she helped me with cleaning and supplies when she could. 6 guppies fishes and 2 adopted female bettas fish. I am not a perfect pet owner, like not even close to perfect, but I try my best. I just really value animals' lives, and I think adopting a pet is a lot of responsibility. My pets are my family, and I will provide the best life I can to them. That includes taking care of their financial, biological, and emotional needs the best way I can. I did lost my cool sometimes, but I never beat them. Now about my fight with my ex. Well, she lives with her mother, I will call her Mill, and she has a problematic dog. I'm a cat person, but like I said, I love animals in general, so unlike her, who at the beginning wasn't a fan of my cat, I didn't have any problem meeting her pet. Until I meet her. She is a medium-sized dog, really reactive. She does bite. She is aggressive towards kids and dogs while walking, but not at her house. I don't understand this, but she won't bite a crying small child in the living room, but she will lost her cool and go after any small human in the streets, and she has a barking problem. And I get it, dogs usually bark, but she barks a lot to any noise. Kids, construction work, music, voices, other dogs, TV noises, anything is motive for barking. She is very vocal, so she uses barks to get attention or human food, and if she doesn't get it she will bark too. She also destroyed some of my clothes accessories, and she often play I wasn't PLA. Ying with her too rough with me to the point of hurting my legs and hands. People at my work even asked if anything happened to me when they saw it. I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, I despised this dog, and me and ex fight a lot because of her. I started to question my own values. But I learned some things about the dog and my vision started to shift. She was donated at 26 days old, small puppy. She lived in the shadow of my ex's deceased pet dog, which sounded like another nightmare dog, but I guess death made him more lovable. She was feed human food every day. I'm guilty of giving her food too. My ex give her bread with butter every morning, and I knew it wasn't tea good, but not only I said nothing, I used to share my food with her, bananas, strawberry, cucumber, anything, and I'm a total hypocrite for this. Ex was unemployed and her mother used to buy a transgenic very cheap dog food. It is like $5 for 5 pounds 5 kilograms, and the dog obviously hated it. There no barbecue sauce for dogs that is going to fix a soy and corn-based dog food. That also sounded stupid to me, but my ex didn't know dog foods were supposed to be high in protein and made mainly of actual meat. Yeah, for her, dog food was dog food. The dog did get beatings, when she broke things or was difficult in general, not like broken bones beatings, but still, my ex and Mill beat the dog. My ex didn't know you are supposed to vaccinate your dog every year and she only was vaccinated once. Really stupid, I know, and despite me not being really knowledge of dog owning, I knew something wasn't right. My family had dogs before when I was little, nobody treat them like this. I started to be more patient with the dog. I did lost my cool with her, but I never hit her and I started to defend her. The dog now loves me, she give me loads of kisses every time I visited. I discovered she is a crazy smart dog, she understands the concept of mirror. I saw the dog seeing me through my reflection on the mirror to see where I hide her treats. She also knows, without any training, the name of her toys. I can say bring me the little ball and she will bring the little ball. If I say take the orange toy she will pick the orange toy, and I'm pretty sure she knows my name. She started to sleep next to me when I slept in my ex's house, and don't get me wrong, she still is the devil reincarnated. She destroy everything she can find and she does bite and bark a lot, but I started to really love this dog. So I decided to research something about dogs. Human food is, like though, definitely a no-no. I also searched for good dog food that weren't really expensive and said to my ex I could buy it, but she denied. I also offered to pay for a dog trainer, she also denied. She said when she got a job, she would pay for things. I wasn't happy with it, but the dog wasn't mine, unfortunately. We still fight about the dog after that, but now I felt like my concern came from a place of care and worry and not annoyance. One day I asked, how can I talk about your dog problems without that being offensive to you? And she said, don't talk about my dog. That would be an okay boundary if the dog didn't destroy my things. Bite, yes. Despite clearly loving me, she did bite me multiple times, because she bite everybody, and I'm not talking about playful bites, but aggressive ones that draw blood and bark at everything that moved. In response I said I didn't want to see her anymore if she was going to be so untrained. And then she said she would lock her up when I visited. Not what I was expecting, but again, not my dog. Ex did that 2 times and the dog was crazy to see me. If the door wasn't locked up I'm pretty sure she would have learned how to open it, which, by the way, she did learn how to open unlocked doors eventually. Ex stopped doing it after 3rd visit and I was relieved. It was sad to hear the dog crying. And then I started talking about her dog again, but when I said to M. Why ex, I think you beat your dog because your family treated you badly and with violence, so you repeat this behavior with the dog. She wasn't happy, but she heard it. She even talked about this with her psychologist and she said to me I was right, and I started to have hope things would change for the Devi, I mean, the dog. Now I think ex was just happy her poor training and low care were excused. Well, she got a job last month and her aunt made a veterinarian plan and included my ex's dog, so she has a microchip now that isn't common in my country. Most veterinarian clinics don't scan animals, but anyways, that was good progress. The dog now have access to some free veterinary consultation and ex will pay almost nothing to vaccinate her dog. When her dog started to vomit and have gastro problems, she finally agreed to stop giving her human food and ex started to buy the dog food I suggested early, and I thought the dog wasn't getting any beatings. Not perfect, still a lot of aggressive and barking problems, but it was progress, right? Well, no. 2 days ago I slept in my GF house and the dog was being insufferable. I'm not sugarcoating the reality. I really love that dog, but she is indeed hard to deal with. I was eating in the kitchen and I think I heard the Mill beat the dog with a flip-flop in the living room. I think the dog got beaten because the Mill was giving the dog a scolding and saying stop barking. I recognized the sound and the dog went to the kitchen and stayed at my feet. Since I actually saw nothing, I did nothing. That affected me a lot later. Me and Mill had a good relationship. She treats me with kindness, give me food and gifts, but one day, she was being a jerk to my ex. Mill have some mental health issues too, but she often don't take her medication and sometimes she is just a pain to deal with, but that is okay. People aren't always easy and I defended my ex. And Mill wasn't happy. She acted like kid, said some mean stuff and etc. etc. Well, she never asked for sorry. My ex couldn't ask her to say sorry to me, because Mill wasn't even apologizing to my ex in the first place, and I was actually more worried for ex and asked her to not take my side. I regret this, but how could I ask her anything when she was in the worst situation? Sounds petty, but I never forgot. I still treated Mill just the way I used to treat before the incident, but I was always cautious since then. So I thought maybe the dog wasn't beaten and I was just being paranoid. When we went to sleep that night and the dog was sleeping in my feet, I started to remember my ex never said the dog wasn't get any more beatings. She always said when I hit her is because of this and that, and she never said when I used to hit her it was because of this and that, so I started to get worried and kinda sad. Next morning, I went to work and then to my house. Today I decided to visit my ex after work to eat and discuss which time we were going to clean the aquariums, and I noticed ex put the good dog food with the old bad dog food. I asked about it and she said I don't want to waste the old food. I was disappointed. Then when I was eating and the dog was pleading for human food, my ex jokingly said when I gave her bread and butter this morning, I said, "Don't tell your mom," making a reference to me. I was pissed. So pissed. There is no way someone is that stupid and inconsequential. I felt like she was putting up a show of improvement to please me, but with no actual improvement. I angrily asked why she gave her human food and she had the audacity to say well she isn't vomiting or popping weird anymore, so I gave her bread and butter. Yeah, maybe she isn't have any more gastro problems because you aren't giving her human food? I left the house and I was furious. Lately my ex was dropping a lot of promises she made. She said she would quit smoking, never stopped and even stopped trying to stop. Lately she would just take a bath and brush her teeth before I came to visit her, but I excused since it is an addiction. Then she said she was going to be vegetarian, but ate a sausage because she didn't want to go buy cheese. The supermarket is literally across the street. And again I excused since stop eating meat is hard. And now she started to give her dog human food again. There is no excuse for this. I realized she just don't want to do things. I never asked her to stop smoking or to be vegetarian, but I did ask to stop feeding the dog with human food. I texted her saying we needed to talk later. She said I was being insensible because I knew we need to talk is a trigger phrase for her, which I responded by saying I'm not responsible for your inability to see a we need to talk message without freaking out. I'm sorry that this causes you stress. It causes everyone, by the way, and that you don't know how to deal with it, but that's not my responsibility. It's up to you to work on yourself. It's not fair to me that I can't say we need to talk if we need to. She made some provocative comments calling me names. Then she deleted the messages and said she didn't want to fight. I was already pissed, said it was easy for her to say, but okay, and texted goodbye. It should have ended here, but she asked what I wanted to talk about, because in her mind I wanted fight over some stupid mistake on her part or because she is a bad pet owner. I asked her if truly matter what I would say, because no matter what I was going to be the villain that dared to critic her. Also if she did committed a mistake, I had the right to say it, and we fought a lot about the untrained dog and yet things never change. She asked is the dog really the problem? And I was baffled. The dog isn't the problem, is the way ex don't want to train or care or hear anything about her untrained dog. I said she could find any excuse she wanted for all her dog's problem, but there is no excuse for the inability to not feed your dog with human food when she had 2 types of dog food available. She said are you fighting with me because of a piece of bread? I said no, I'm pissed because she doesn't give her dog a better life, not because she can't give the dog a better life. The dog is suffering because ex doesn't care that much for her dog in the first place. She said I was being controlling and everything is about control with me. With all honesty, I think she is picking up my general problems, which in fact exist, but are unrelated here, to shift the blame. She said I'm angry because the dog isn't perfect enough for me and I can't control the dog. She can't control her own dog. Of course I'm mad. I said don't manipulate the narrative. It's not about control, it's about being responsible for your adopted animal that you supposedly love and care about. But she continued to say it is about control for me, the dog isn't good enough for me and I'm being unfairly angry because things aren't going my way. To that I typed when you cannot find a justification for the mediocre treatment you have already admitted to give to your dog. Let's remember you talked about this to your psychologist. You agreed that you treat the dog badly and aggressively because your family treated you like that, and you projected this onto her. You manipulate the narrative so that the problem is me, and I guess that really offended her, because she said I was a snake, said I have no right to talk about her mother. I didn't talk about her mother, and she doesn't have the money to treat the dog right because she maxed out her credit card this month. Credit card bills and salary are a monthly payment here cause we went to 2 anime conventions like I went to, but my cat isn't without good food or veterinary money because of it, and I could pay the dog's bill no problem. The veterinary consultation is literally free. BXTCH was what I wanted to say that, because we are already fighting anyway, but I didn't typed it. I instead repeated over and over that when you can't find a justification for the mediocre treatment you've already admitted to give to your dog, you manipulate the narrative so that the problem is me. Maybe I'm for this? Yes, but I think she was in denial. In her head, the problem is me talking about her dog, not the fact she doesn't want to train or give a better life in general to her dog. Yes, I can be a perfectionist, but I don't want to control her dog. I wanted her to be able to control her dog. I wanted her to vaccinated, train, feed with dog food and take her dog to the vet. I don't even remember what she typed after that, and I know copying and pasting my own messages with blocked names while vaguely saying what she typed can look kinda sketchy, but I don't want to look to nasty messages again. To anything I still answered the same response. I think she was tired of me and blocked me, fair. Some hours later, she unblocked me and said she was sorry, she shouldn't call me names. I felt nothing, it didn't sound like a sincere apology, and I felt like she still thinks she doesn't have to change a thing and this isn't a big of deal anyway. So I gave her an ultimatum. Ultimatums are a moves, but I think this one is justified. Until the dog is vaccinated, never beaten again, and she got a professional dog trainer, just got one. The dog didn't need to be trained, just the perspective of professional training was good enough. I would not be seeing her or the dog. She said she and her mother don't actually beat the dog anymore. I don't know if I believe, but okay. She will vaccinated the dog next month, but she won't pay a professional to train her dog cause she have no money like I didn't offered before. I was maybe the here because I decided I don't want to compromise with the dog no more. I said you clearly cannot train the dog. You can't even stop giving her human food. She typed something like if that's how you want it, that's fine. And said so we end here and block her on the message app to detox myself from her. Then she sent me reels on Instagram about corn dogs? Like I didn't just break up with her. So I block her there too. I'm the for breaking up with my ex? I know I wasn't a saint, but I'm the did I give up in something good over a piece of bread, or was my concerns justifiable? Is it normal to be that misinformed about your own pet needs, or I have high standards for animal care? I'm a controlling freak in this situation?